All right, guys, welcome back. Where do I start? Like, I don't know. We are pretty much 2/3 done with the fishing season here for the summer. And yeah, today's video, we're just gonna go through over the boat, the trailer, any sort of updates, upgrades, or modifications I've done for the boat. So here we go. We can't forget about the trailer because it is a very important part of, getting the boat onto the water. So we definitely did do some updates on it as well, as you guys can see. So let's go on and get started. As you guys can see, this is one of the bigger upgrade that we did on the trailer. We got a bigger, beefier, and what's the word for it? A rugged wheel, a trailer jack here for the trailer. First one it still worked, but it was really stiff, really worn out, a little bit rusted here and there. And it didn't turn as easy, so I wanted something a little more rugged just because you guys can see I live on gravel. So sometimes I have to push the board around if I have to, or even if I go to like a launch or somewhere where I need to take it off. This one is definitely, I think it does much better job. On the jack here, it's also adjustable, so you can raise it or lower it, so that way you can level your boat and trailer when you're towing it, unless you have an adjustable hitch. I did buy a adjustable hitch for my truck as well because originally I wasn't gonna get a fancy, expensive tongue jack here, but I ended up getting it anyway just because I wanted something a little more newer and beefier and more rugged. Moving on up here, we did update or replace the strap here. The old one was a little beat up, worn out, especially right here. It's the most used part, it gets all the tension here. So I did replace that. This one doesn't have a second hook for backup, but I did also buy a little strap here, extra security. So basically you just unbuckle this right here and it'll loosen this, push it down, and then it'll tighten it. So it's just a way of keeping the boat being pulled this way and down. That way it keeps out the tension here, so there's less rocking on the boat when it's on the road. Another additional add-on we did for the trailer was adding these little side steps here. These are the Ultra Tow I got from, I believe, eTrailer.com. This is just more for comfort, more easy access to the boat, and especially for the big boys. So I have a lot of guys that are a little bit, 3 times my size that struggle getting inside the boat. So some of my guys, they asked me why not get some for the other side. I originally wanted one on each side. However, I figured it's easier to have, or better to have 2 on one side, so you can, left foot up and then your right foot there. And it's a lot easier because this is wide open up here in the deck or in the center console area. You can just hover your foot over it. If it was like a little bit higher, you have to be a little more flexible to kind of maneuver around the boat. But I think this does the job really well, and it adds more balance to it, so whoever tries to get on the boat has easier access there. I did get a trailer step here for the boat. Basically, you mount it right here on the tongue, and then the steps come out this way. However, my trolling motor, it sticks out too much, so the last step is unusable, and this gets in the way. So I just return it. All right, moving on to the back. Let's see. One thing we did do here is we got some Rod Saver stainless steel strap tie downs for the back of the boat here. I went with stainless steel because, rust proof. I didn't want to deal with any rust at all. If I could prevent as much rust as possible, I would go with stainless steel. These have been really nice so far. Basically, you pull down the handle or this little lever right here, pull down, lift it up until it goes to a 90-degree angle, it locks up, and basically you just kind of pull it down and it'll just retract by itself. So these are really nice. I like these. Again, stainless steel, very nice. Strap it up, same thing, just reverse it, pull it down. You can crank it, it'll tighten the strap up, and then you're pretty much good to go. So nice and easy, one on each side, on the left and the right side. We are inside the boat. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. Don't mind all the sand and the dirt in there. We went fishing a few days ago, so I just haven't really had a chance to clean it, but it constantly gets dirty anyways. But anyways, you can see here, the first thing we did was we upgraded the deck. We went with these fancy premium off the deck foam here for the front deck here. It's really nice and soft. It is a little sensitive too, so if you're really rough with it, it's gonna get frayed up here. You can see all these scratch marks, all these indents, but I don't mind it. I do a lot of river fishing, in and out of the boat, a lot of stuff going on. So carpet or foam doesn't matter too much for me, but I do like this look more. It looks really nice. The carpet here, this is the original carpet that came with the boat. We're planning to replace this next year. We'll see how it goes. got a few things I want to do. Replace the carpet and extend the deck out a little bit more to like maybe like right here. So we get like an extra, I don't know, 2 feet. So someone can fish in the center more. That way you're a little more elevated from above the boat. So it'll be easier to fish. Focusing more on the front here, you can see we install a pedal tray here. It's a shallow, really shallow pedal. Not as thick as like those other ones you've seen. So we went with a shallow tray because there's a shallow pedal here. It's not extremely flush. It kind of sticks out a little bit, but I don't mind. I think it actually works a little bit better for me if it's not too flush, so I don't end up leaning forward too much. But yeah, just want to you just run the wire through underneath the fish finder mount there, and just connect it to a trolling motor. We're gonna go up to the front, and you can see here, this is the navigation light port. I think the most important thing I've done up here was adding the gator skin here. The original one, it came with, I guess, barely like a third, just kind of covering this part. Or I think it was on the left side, I don't recall. But basically, I wanted to extend to the whole front here. That way, someone can stand, or I can stand and fish up here. I've done it several times already. As long as the water is not crazy or anything, it's not bad at all. It's really balanced, really stable, and really grippy, so you're not gonna slip or anything. So I really like this addition here. You can see I did some little sleek cut here just to basically use as much material as I can. Originally, I wanted to cover the whole thing and leave like no opening or anything, but I really dig this cut here. So on both sides, really, I think it looks really nice, really slick. Moving on to the trolling motor, I did do a little upgrade to the trolling motor. This is a Terrova 55 pounds, a 2020 model. I actually thought it was like a 2015 or I think like 2017, but it turns out it's a 2020, which is really nice. It's not that old, it's just like 3 years old. But I did upgrade the receptacle and the plug here. You can see, let me take it out here. It's really nice, really easy. We've got some sand here. Don't make sure we get any sand in there, but yeah. Definitely a good upgrade. Just make sure we get, a lot of power or complete power to the trolling motor. No issues at all. I did install a little touch voltage meter here, so we can see we have 90%, 13.3 volt. I think it's pretty accurate for the most part. I have a voltmeter as well, and it does a really good job of measuring like the volt or how much batteries there's left in there. We'll get to the batteries probably last, but for now we're gonna move on to the fish finder. I upgraded both fish finders. This boat came with 2 Lowrance fish finders, and I wanted Humminbird, but it was just too expensive just for one unit. So I decided to get, eventually I got the second one. I only bought one so far, and I put it at the console there, but when I got the second one, we went with the deck mount Precision here, and it has a nice angle where you can mount it, so that way it doesn't like mess up with the wires or anything like that. Let me turn around. That way there's no too much pressure in the wires. That way it kind of just more natural. That being said, let me put this back. Nothing else fancy up here. Again, this is my storage compartment. This is actually my only storage compartment. I turned the second one here into my main battery compartment for my trolling motor. But I'll leave this out here. We're gonna go through this in a second here, but let's go to the console quick. Again, didn't do much here. Just got the live well. Ooh, smells like crawfish. Been catching a lot of smallies lately, but I left the horn up here. It stays put pretty well. I put some silicone, the cup holder, just because the water doesn't drip down. But this is my first original Garmin. It's the same unit. This is a 93 SV UHD2. I got the 5.6 transducer, so really nice, clear, strong. Gets a lot of good feedback and images. So I've been using a lot. Side image is such a game changer. I mean, it's nothing compared to a 360, but this is my first time using side image, and I've been learning a lot just using it. So we've been fishing a bunch of lakes, explore a lot of rocks, different rock piles, stumps, everything. So definitely get used to using your fish finder. Makes a huge difference. Upgraded steering wheel. Nothing fancy. It's like a $20 steering wheel off of Amazon. I did add a little 6-bolt adapter on, so that way we can get away from that little 3/4 inch nut and bolt type steering wheel. So this one is a lot nicer too, just because it sticks out a little bit more, and that way it's a little bit more comfortable to steer, especially if you're leaning back or you don't have to like sit so close to the steering wheel. Let me turn the power. My main power and kill switch is all in here. This is one of the smaller storage compartment, which you can see I converted into my trolling motor and my onboard charging department here. Here's the kill switch. It's off right now. We're gonna turn on. Got the trolling motor switch there as well, just in case you know, that protect your electronics here. But we'll go through the batteries and all this stuff in a bit here, but we'll go back to the console. Power's on. Let me pop the seat up here and have the seat. You can see this is actually the same. The switch panel here came with a different voltmeter, and that one was, I think, if I recall correctly, it was off by like 0.7 volts. So it wasn't as accurate. I had a voltmeter tester as well, and this one was pretty accurate for the most part. So I bought a second one, installed it, swapped it out with this one here. So it's really nice. Again, it's touchscreen, 13.3, 90%. This one is connected to the starting battery, my cranking battery, and then the one up front, that one is to the trolling motor batteries. Going back to the switch panel here, you can see all my little labels here. I actually bought the wrong switch panel. It came with this little kill switch or something, this little toggle. But I took them out, so they left these little holes in between the panel here. So I put some stickers on it just to kind of block it off. I'll probably, I don't know, I'll fix that sometimes in the future, or maybe eventually upgrade to a bigger switch. I think I do want maybe 8 or 2 additional switches here. But we'll see how that goes. The space is somewhat kind of limited here. I would have to go up here on the board here to extend the switch panels, but this does the job for the most part. First one here is my micro anchor. I barely use it, to be honest. I'm actually thinking about selling it. I'm not too sure. It is nice to have when you want to like beach the boat or anything like that, but I usually just end up pulling the boat all the way to a shoreline anyways, onto the sand or dirt or whatever, just to keep it from moving. But an anchor is nice to have. The anchor pole is like 8 feet. I have it stored right here, just sticking through the rod, the old rod storage compartment right there. But that's the micro anchor pole, and the anchor is right there. Going back, we got the aerator. This is actually the live well. I gotta switch the little sticker here, but that's for the live well. Bilge pump. This is for the navigation, the bow, the stern lights. And this is for my main boat lights. I have, I initially installed 6 LED strips. They're about 12 inches. One's under here. And then I got 2 up front. One under this storage compartment right inside here. And then the 5th one right in here, the edge. And then the last one, I put it behind the gas tank right here. Can't see it too much, but just more to kind of illuminate it. But then I just installed these 2 here just a few days ago, just because I've done a few I don't night fish a lot, but I've gone out a few times where it's really dark in the back of the boat. So it's just nice to have these 2 additional strips in the back. That way the boat is pretty much all lit up. 2 front, 1 middle. This one actually lit up pretty good. And then these 2 here. But, you know, we try not to turn on the light too much just because it just brings all the bugs in there. But that's the boat light there. And then we got the GPS just for the Minn Kota puck right here. The head sensor unit for the trolling motor. Okay, let's talk about the battery compartment here. So we got 2 12 volts, 100 amps Power Queen. These are the Power Queen batteries, lithium batteries. These are the mini versions, so they weigh around, I think, let's see, 17 or 19 pounds. Really lightweight. It's not your standard battery dimension. That's why you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it, but in the battery tray here, I got a lot of space right here, but I have a little cushion shock absorber pad on the bottom, and then I install some foam as well on the edge. That way it keeps the battery from shaking around too much here. I'm not sure, for some reason I bought some Noco trays, but this one came with a really crappy strap. If you can see, it gets loose quite often. But yeah, this one has the better strap. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, whatever, it works. Maybe I'll get a different strap eventually to replace it, but it does the job for now. But anyways, we also have a Noco Genius Gen Pro 10 with 3 banks, 10 amps, 3 banks charger here. Basically, I got 2 hooked up, 1 each to the batteries, and then I have the wires running to the back into the crank battery there. So yeah, it's kind of messy in here. All the wires running through the boat from the back to the middle, into the circuit breaker and everything. It's not the prettiest in here, but again, this is just mainly for batteries. I do have my little navigation 360 light right there as well, just in here. But yeah, let me turn this power off here. But you know, nothing fancy in here, just some lithium batteries. I did go with all lithium for trolling motor and the motor, just to save off weight. I probably shave off maybe a good 50, 60 pounds of weight. So it's really nice, especially for like smaller boats, like aluminum boats, or if you're just trying to cut as much weight as possible. So I originally did want to put these in the front of the boat. However, I almost did it, but then I realized if I did do that, I would need to get a second onboard charger. So that way I can, extend the cables or charge it back there. But that's just too much money right now at the moment. So we're good with this setup. It's just more of so to balance the boat out, balance the weight out, because there's a lot of weight in the back here with the motor, gas tank, and all the batteries, all this stuff back here. But it's not too bad. It's been really good so far. So I'm not complaining too much. It's just an idea, and just a thought to have, just in case if we want to make any changes in the future. But yeah, like I said, battery compartment does the job. I also forgot to mention, I did install a Noco charging port here as well. So that way it's nice and easy. The cable just runs, the extension cable just runs through underneath the chair here. And I drill a little hole in here as well. That way it comes through, and then you just plug in the cord right in here. So I have it all plugged up right under the driver's seat. So there's a lot of, again, the circuit breaker in here, a lot of cords and cables, wires just running through here. You can see there's actually one sticking out right here. Let me try to hide it here. You can see the wire. So I'm just trying to hide it, making sure it's not too exposed so it doesn't get caught in anything. Always want to make sure your wires are well hidden. There we go. Ta-da, no more exposed wires. So we're good there. All right, so we're gonna go to the back. Nothing fancy, really. It's just, gas tank in the back, a little extra foam there. This is my super, super cool, strong powerhouse cranking battery. So this thing has been amazing. Early on, it was one of those questions where, is it okay to use lithium batteries with Mercury motor? I know it's been approved for, I believe it was like at least 70 or 75 plus horsepower. It was approved. I called Mercury directly. Mine's only 30 horsepower. And on their end, they haven't tested like 30 horsepower motors with lithium batteries, so they weren't sure how it was going to behave, the longevity of the motor, what happens to it. So I risked it. Basically, I wanted to go lithium. I wanted a good battery that would last. This, if you take care of it, this should last for at least 10 years, supposedly. So as long as you take care of it, store it properly during the winter time, it should be all good to go for a very long time. Haven't had any issues on it. Ran this on Lake Michigan for like, I was basically fishing on Lake Michigan for like 14 plus hours and no issues with it. I was just cruising at the lake with my buddy, and it was really, really fun. So love the battery. Lithium is a way to go in the future. So it's pricey, definitely pricey, but for 10 years worth, you definitely get your money's worth. The gas tank was more on the right side, but I repositioned it into the middle, so that way it would distribute the weight a little bit better. A little bit of a difference, not too much, but it's definitely better than, especially when you're by yourself, the boat tends to lean to the right a little bit just because you have the live well, all the weight right there, and then the gas weight on the right side. So that's a lot of weight on just one side of the boat. So figured I moved to the center a little bit more, and it should be better off. I forgot to mention some of the contents I put in here, but we got a medical kit, first aid kit just in case. Got some tools, sockets, ratchets in there. Got a flashlight, extra boat plug just in case. You can never be too safe here. Got 3 total. Some mosquito stuff here, repellent, fishing line. I got a marker and a pen. Sometimes you go to a launch and you don't have a pen, you're kind of screwed there. But yeah, keep this in here just in case, right? Just in case you need it. But yeah, haven't really used the first aid too much. Hopefully we don't have to. Never want to, right? But it's there just in case if we need it. So life jackets in here. Whenever someone new gets on my boat, I always tell them where the life jackets are. I got 2 in there, and then we got the flotation device there in the back. So that's the one you throw to somebody if they fell in the water. But yeah, basically safety first, guys. Always safety first. That is it, guys. Nothing much else to say besides, we're gonna roll with this for the rest of the year, and then any changes, upgrades that we want to do, we'll think about next year. I do have a baby on the way, so we'll see how that goes. Again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.